Have you felt a quiet weakening, a subtle fading of your own strength? Many experience this, but the reason it takes hold and the power you have to reclaim your vitality might truly surprise you. Stay with me, because the understanding we uncover at the end is a key to profound renewal. Silent decline. It often begins as a whisper, a subtle shift in the way we inhabit our own bodies. A task that once felt effortless now requires a little more consideration, a little more push. A walk that was once brisk might now feel a touch more labored. This isn't a sudden storm, but a quiet, almost imperceptible ebbing of the tide, the slow, silent decline of what we perceive as our physical power. We might attribute it to the simple passage of years, a natural consequence of time, and in one sense, time is indeed a factor. But the truly surprising element, the part that often remains unseen, is not just the what, but the how, and more importantly, the why this happens with such prevalence and often such acceptance. It is the gradual unraveling of the body's inherent strength, a process that can creep in so softly that we barely notice its arrival until its effects become more pronounced, more challenging to ignore. This isn't merely about the capacity to lift or to carry, it's about the very essence of our independence, our ability to engage with the world fully, to move through our days with a sense of confidence and ease. When our physical structure begins to weaken, it can cast a shadow over our spirit. We might find ourselves hesitating before an activity we once enjoyed, a subtle withdrawal from the vibrant dance of life. This hesitation, born from a perceived frailty, can then become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The less we do, the less we become capable of doing. It's a gentle spiral, but it moves downwards, and the shocking aspect is often our own unwitting complicity in this descent. We may not realize the profound impact of small, consistent neglects, the subtle ways we might disconnect from the body's innate need for engagement and challenge. The world around us sometimes reinforces this narrative of inevitable decline. It speaks of aging as a period of winding down, of diminishing returns. But is this the whole truth? Or is it a story we have learned to tell ourselves, a script we follow because it is so commonly presented? The true shock perhaps lies in understanding that much of this decline is not an intractable decree of fate, but a response to how we live, how we think, and how we relate to this precious physical form we inhabit. It's a response to a lack of mindful cultivation, a turning away from the body's simple yet profound requirements. The muscles, these incredible tissues of action and support, do not fade merely because of the number of years lived, but more critically, because of how those years are lived, how those muscles are invited or not invited to participate in the journey of our life. The loss can feel deeply personal, touching upon our sense of self, our identity. Who are we when the strength we once took for granted begins to wane? This question can be a source of sadness, even fear. But within this question also lies an opportunity, an invitation to look deeper, beyond the surface symptoms, to the underlying currents that shape our physical reality. The silent decline is a call to attention, a signal from the body that something essential is being overlooked. It is not a judgment, but a communication. And if we can learn to listen to this communication, not with despair, but with curiosity and compassion, we begin to open the door to a different path. A path of conscious renewal and sustained vitality, regardless of the seasons of our life. It is the realization that the power to change this trajectory often lies much closer than we imagine, not in complex solutions, but in a return to fundamental principles, body's wisdom. Within each of us, regardless of age or current condition, resides an extraordinary intelligence, a deep, intrinsic wisdom held within the very cells of our being. Our bodies are not passive vessels succumbing to the whims of time. They are dynamic, responsive, and possess an incredible capacity for adaptation and regeneration. This is the body's wisdom, an inherent knowing of how to heal, how to strengthen, how to thrive. The challenge is not that this wisdom is absent, but that we have, perhaps, forgotten how to listen to it, how to honor its subtle signals and its profound capabilities. When we speak of losing muscle, it is easy to fall into a narrative of decay, of irreversible loss. But this perspective often overlooks the body's constant striving for balance, for homeostasis, and its readiness to respond to the right stimuli, the right nourishment, the right intention. Think of a plant. If it is deprived of light and water, it will wither. But provide those essential elements, and it has the potential to revive, to unfurl new leaves, to reach towards the sun once more. Our bodies are infinitely more complex, yet this simple principle holds true. The capacity for renewal is woven into our biological fabric. The shocking truth is not that our bodies age, but that we often underestimate their resilience, their inherent drive to maintain vitality. We may have inadvertently created conditions that lead to decline, but by understanding and cooperating with the body's innate wisdom, we can also create conditions that foster strength and well-being. This requires a shift in mindset, from seeing the body as a machine that inevitably breaks down, to viewing it as a living, intelligent system that is constantly communicating its needs and its potential. Listening to the body is a skill, an art that can be cultivated. It begins with quiet attention, a willingness to feel, to notice the subtle sensations, the messages of comfort or discomfort, of energy or fatigue. In our busy lives, filled with external distractions, it is easy to become disconnected from this internal dialogue. We might push through pain, ignore fatigue, or overlook the gentle nudges that guide us towards what truly nourishes and sustains us. Re-establishing this connection is fundamental. It means treating the body not as a servant to be commanded, but as a trusted partner, a wise counselor. When we begin to listen in this way, we discover that the body often tells us exactly what it needs, what kind of movement, what kind of rest, what kind of sustenance. This wisdom also extends to the mind-body connection. Our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs have a profound impact on our physical state. If we hold a belief that decline is inevitable, that belief can shape our actions or inaction in ways that reinforce the decline. Conversely, if we cultivate a belief in the body's resilience, in our own capacity to support its strength, this too can become a powerful force for positive change. The body's wisdom is not separate from the mind's clarity. They are interconnected, interwoven. A calm, focused mind can better perceive the body's signals. A compassionate attitude towards oneself can create an internal environment more conducive to healing and growth. It is about fostering a harmonious relationship between all aspects of our being, recognizing that true strength arises from this integration. The journey to reclaiming and maintaining muscle, then, is not just a physical endeavor, it is a holistic one, engaging the intelligence of the entire system. Movement's grace. Movement is the language of life. It is an expression of our vitality, our connection to the world, and our ability to interact with it. When we think of preserving or rebuilding muscle, especially as we navigate the later seasons of life, the mind often jumps to images of strenuous exercise, of gyms and weights. And while specific training has its place, the deeper principle is about re-embracing movement with grace, with mindfulness, as an integral and joyful part of our daily existence, not merely as a prescribed task. It is about discovering the elegance and power in how our bodies are designed to move and finding ways to honor that design consistently. The shocking decline often stems from a profound and prolonged stillness, a settling into patterns of inactivity that starve the muscles of the very stimulus they need to thrive. Consider the natural world. A tree sways in the wind, its branches reaching, its roots holding firm. An animal moves with purpose, whether it is stalking prey, playing, or simply exploring its environment. There is an inherent grace in this natural movement, an efficiency and an aliveness. We too are designed for movement. Our joints, our muscles, our entire physiology are geared towards activity. The problem arises when our modern lifestyles, or perhaps our learned habits, lead us into a state of chronic underuse. The body, in its wisdom, adapts to what is asked of it. If little is asked, it conserves energy, and tissues that are not regularly challenged will gradually diminish. This is not a malicious process, but a logical one. The invitation then is to reintroduce movement, not as a punishment or a chore, but as a celebration of our capacity, a way to nurture our physical being. What does this graceful movement look like? It can be incredibly simple. It can be walking with awareness, feeling the connection of your feet to the earth, the swing of your arms, the gentle rotation of your spine. It can be rising from a chair with intention, using your legs and core rather than momentum. It can be tending a garden, reaching, bending, lifting with care. It can be practices like Tai Chi or Qigong, which cultivate strength, balance, and flow through slow, deliberate, and mindful motions. The key is not necessarily the intensity, especially at first, but the consistency and the quality of attention we bring to it. Are we moving with awareness, or are we just going through the motions? Are we listening to our body, respecting its limits while gently encouraging its potential? This approach transforms movement from an obligation into a form of active meditation. Each step, each stretch, each lift can become an opportunity to connect more deeply with ourselves, to feel the life force flowing through us. There is a profound satisfaction, a quiet joy that comes from using our bodies well, from feeling them respond with increasing strength and suppleness. This isn't about chasing the physique of our youth, but about cultivating a body that is capable, resilient, and able to support us in living a full and engaged life. The grace comes from the harmony between intention and action, from moving in a way that feels nourishing and sustainable, rather than depleting or forced. It's about finding rhythms that resonate with our individual nature, movements that feel less like work and more like an expression of our aliveness. This rediscovery of movement's grace is a powerful antidote to the silent decline, awakening the body's dormant potential. Nourished temple, our physical form, is more than just a collection of tissues and bones. It is the temple within which our life unfolds, the sacred vessel that carries us through our experiences. How we choose to nourish this temple has a direct and profound impact on its strength, its resilience, and its overall vitality. When we speak of addressing muscle loss, particularly as we mature, the conversation must inevitably turn to what we consume. Yet, this is not merely about calories or macronutrient ratios in a purely mechanical sense. It is about approaching nourishment with reverence, with mindfulness, understanding that the food and drink we take in become the very building blocks of our being, the fuel for our inner fire. The shocking reason for decline can sometimes be rooted in a long-term, perhaps unconscious, neglect of the body's fundamental need for high-quality, life-sustaining nourishment. The wisdom here lies in simplicity and awareness. Our bodies thrive on real, wholesome foods, those that are as close as possible to their natural state. Think of fresh vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. These are not just collections of nutrients. They carry a certain life energy, a vitality that is transferred to us when we consume them mindfully. Conversely, highly processed foods laden with artificial ingredients, excessive sugars, and unhealthy fats can place a burden on the body, diverting its energy towards detoxification and repair rather than growth and maintenance. Over time, a diet that is lacking in essential nutrients and rich in detrimental substances can quietly undermine the body's ability to sustain its muscle mass and its overall vigor. This isn't about restrictive dieting or denying ourselves pleasure, but about making conscious choices that honor the sanctity of our physical temple. Mindful eating is a crucial aspect of this nourishment. How often do we eat while distracted, rushing through meals without truly tasting our food or noticing how it makes us feel? When we eat mindfully, we engage all our senses. We appreciate the colors, the textures, the aromas. We chew slowly, allowing for proper digestion and absorption of nutrients. This simple act of paying attention can transform our relationship with food. It allows us to become more attuned to our body's signals of hunger and satiety, guiding us towards what we truly need and in what amounts. It also fosters a sense of gratitude for the nourishment we receive, recognizing it as a gift that supports our life. This mindful approach helps to ensure that we are not just filling a void, but truly providing our body with the high-quality materials it requires to repair and build, especially the muscle tissue that is so vital for our strength and mobility. Hydration, too, is a cornerstone of nourishing the temple. Water is essential for virtually every bodily process, including muscle function and repair. Often, a subtle chronic dehydration can contribute to feelings of fatigue and can impair the body's ability to perform and recover optimally. Simply ensuring an adequate intake of pure water throughout the day can make a significant difference in our energy levels and our body's capacity to maintain its health. Ultimately, nourishing the temple is an act of profound self-respect and self-care. It's about understanding that what we choose to put into our bodies is a direct reflection of how much we value our well-being. By choosing wisely, by eating mindfully, and by staying well hydrated, we provide our physical form with the essential support it needs, not just to prevent decline, but to actively regenerate and thrive, allowing our inner light to shine more brightly through a well-tended vessel. Mindful strength. Mindfulness in this context means bringing a deliberate and non-judgmental attention to our physical experience as we engage in activities that challenge our muscles. Whether it is lifting a simple weight, performing a bodyweight exercise, or even carrying groceries with good form, the quality of our mental presence is key. Are we feeling the muscles work? Are we paying attention to our breath, ensuring it supports the effort? Are we aware of our posture, our alignment? This internal focus amplifies the effect of the physical stimulus. It's the difference between mindlessly going through motions and consciously engaging in a process of building. This focused attention helps to recruit more muscle fibers, improves coordination, and ensures that the effort is applied effectively and safely. It turns every repetition, every movement into an opportunity for deeper connection and growth. Overcoming mental barriers is another crucial aspect of cultivating mindful strength. As we encounter physical limitations or the perceived challenges of aging, it is easy for negative thought patterns to take root. We might tell ourselves, "I'm too old for this," or "I'm not strong enough." These thoughts can become significant obstacles, more formidable than any physical weakness. Mindful strength involves recognizing these mental constructs for what they are, just thoughts, not immutable truths. It requires us to gently challenge these limiting beliefs, to cultivate a mindset of patient persistence and self-compassion. It's about understanding that progress may be gradual, that there will be good days and more challenging days, but that consistent, mindful effort, however small, accumulates over time to create significant change. This inner fortitude is the bedrock upon which physical strength is built and maintained. Discipline in this light is not a harsh taskmaster, but an act of profound self-care, a commitment to our own well-being. It is the gentle but firm resolve to show up for ourselves, to engage in the practices that nourish our strength even when motivation wanes. This discipline is not about forcing or straining, but about cultivating a sustainable rhythm, a consistent application of mindful effort. It's the understanding that small, regular investments in our physical and mental strength yield substantial long-term returns in vitality and independence. The beauty of mindful strength is that it's not just about the physical outcome. The process itself becomes a practice of presence, of self-awareness, and of cultivating a resilient and empowered state of being. It's the quiet power of a focused mind harmonizing with a willing body, creating a strength that emanates from within and supports a life of purpose and engagement. Inner stillness. In our relentless pursuit of activity and achievement, we often overlook a profound truth. True strength, resilience, and regeneration are not only forged in effort, but are equally nurtured in stillness. The capacity to find and inhabit inner stillness is a vital component in maintaining our well-being, especially as we seek to preserve our physical vitality through the years. The constant barrage of external stimuli, the unceasing demands on our attention, and the internal chatter of a restless mind can create a state of chronic stress. This stress, in turn, can silently erode our physical reserves, contributing to muscle breakdown, fatigue, and a diminished capacity for recovery. One of the most subtle yet powerful reasons for decline is this lack of deep restorative rest, not just for the body, but for the mind and spirit. Inner stillness is not merely the absence of movement or sound. It is a quality of deep calm, a space of quiet presence within ourselves. It can be cultivated through practices like meditation, mindful breathing, or simply spending time in nature, allowing ourselves to just be without the need to do. In these moments of stillness, the body's innate healing mechanisms are activated more fully. The nervous system shifts from a state of fight or flight to one of rest and digest, allowing for profound physiological restoration. Muscles that have been worked need this period of quietude to repair and grow stronger. The mind, freed from its usual agitation, can find clarity and peace. This internal quietude is not an escape from life, but a way to recharge our deepest batteries, enabling us to engage with life more fully and effectively when we return to activity. The connection between stress and physical decline, including muscle loss, is increasingly understood. Chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, a hormone that, in sustained excess, can lead to the breakdown of muscle tissue and the accumulation of visceral fat. It can also disrupt sleep, further hindering the body's ability to repair and rejuvenate. By cultivating inner stillness, we learn to manage stress more effectively. We develop the capacity to observe our thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them, to find a point of stability amidst the turbulence of life. This emotional regulation has a direct, positive impact on our physical health, creating an internal environment that is more conducive to preserving strength and vitality rather than depleting it. It's about learning to navigate the storms of life from a place of centered calm. Furthermore, inner stillness allows us to connect with deeper sources of energy that are often obscured by the noise of our daily lives. There is a profound wisdom, a quiet strength that resides in the depths of our being. When we allow ourselves to become still, we can begin to sense this inner wellspring. This is not just about physical energy, but about a more fundamental life force, a sense of wholeness and connection. Tapping into this deeper energy can provide a renewed sense of purpose and motivation for taking care of our physical temple. It reinforces the understanding that practices like mindful movement and nourishing our body are not just about avoiding decline, but about allowing this inner vitality to express itself more fully. Thus, the path to sustained strength is a balanced one, embracing both mindful action and profound, restorative stillness, allowing each to enrich the other. Vital flow. When we begin to integrate these principles, the understanding of our body's wisdom, the grace of mindful movement, the sanctity of nourishment, the power of focused intention, and the deep restoration found in stillness, something remarkable begins to happen. We start to experience a shift, not just in our physical strength, but in our overall sense of aliveness, a return to what can be described as a vital flow. This isn't a final destination to be reached, but rather a continuous dynamic process of living in greater harmony with ourselves and with the natural rhythms of life. The shocking reason seniors, or indeed anyone, might lose this vitality is often a slow drift away from these integrated fundamental practices, a disconnect from the very sources that sustain our life force. Re-establishing this connection, therefore, is the key to stopping and reversing that decline. This vital flow manifests as more than just the ability to lift heavier objects or walk further. It is an inner radiance, an energy that permeates our being. We feel more present in our bodies, more engaged with the world around us. There's a lightness in our step, a clarity in our mind, and a greater resilience in our spirit. Small, everyday tasks no longer feel like burdens, but opportunities to move, to express, to live. This renewed sense of capability can profoundly impact our confidence and our willingness to participate fully in life, regardless of our chronological age. It's the feeling of our inner engine running smoothly, efficiently, and joyfully, powered by conscious care and mindful attention. This is the essence of what it means to not just survive, but to truly thrive. The journey to cultivating this vital flow is a personal one, and it unfolds at its own pace. It requires patience, consistency, and a deep sense of compassion for oneself. There will be moments of challenge, moments where old habits try to reassert themselves. But with each mindful choice, each conscious movement, each nourishing meal, each moment of quiet stillness, we reinforce the pathways of vitality. It's like tending a garden. With consistent care, the seeds of strength and well-being will germinate and flourish. The beauty of this approach is its inherent sustainability. It is not about extreme measures or quick fixes, but about weaving these life-affirming practices into the fabric of our daily existence, creating a lifestyle that naturally supports our ongoing health and strength. The most powerful insight, perhaps, is that this capacity for renewal, for experiencing this vital flow, is always within us. It is not something that is lost with age, but something that can become obscured if we do not actively cultivate it. The true shock is the realization of our own inherent power to influence our well-being, to reclaim our strength, and to live with a profound sense of energy and purpose at any stage of life. It's understanding that the body is not our enemy in aging, but our faithful partner, always ready to respond to our care and attention. By embracing these holistic principles, we don't just stop the decline of muscle. We open ourselves to a richer, more vibrant experience of life itself, a continuous unfolding of our potential, a flowing stream of well-being that can carry us forward with grace and power. This journey is not merely about preserving muscle. It is about cherishing the precious gift of life that flows through this physical form. It is about choosing each day to cultivate the conditions for vitality, for inner peace, and for a deep, abiding connection to the strength that resides within. The power to shape your well-being is in your hands, in your mindful attention, and in your compassionate action. Embrace it. This video felt like a gentle hand guiding me back to truths I knew but had forgotten. The idea that decline isn't inevitable, but a result of disconnection, really hit home. Time to reconnect with my own body's wisdom. Thank you for this profound reminder.